If you've been trading for 3 months, 6 months, even 12 months, and you still haven't made any progress, like you're not profitable and you're still in your job, then this video is for you. See, a lot of women think that the reason why they haven't hit their income goals is because they keep revenge trading, or they lack the emotional discipline, or they just need to get better at trading. And if they paper trade long enough and don't give up, then they'll eventually make it to full-time status. But what if I told you that the reason why you still aren't full-time as a trader has less to do with your skill and emotions and more to do with these 4 things I'm about to tell you? And stay till the end, because the 4th thing is the most important, that if you miss out, I can guarantee you are almost never going to make it full-time. In 2021, during the crypto bull run, I lost over $60,000 of my own money, and since then I've been able to go from inconsistent wins to creating a full-time income more than my 9-to-5 job, all because I've mastered these 4 things. So let's get into it. The first reason you haven't hit your trading goals is because you're treating your goals as a wish and not a necessity. So what do I mean by that? I want you to be really honest with yourself. You say you want to be full-time. You say that you want to quit your job so bad, but how frequently are you actually showing up for your goals on the days that you don't feel like it? There's a huge difference between treating your goals as a necessity and treating it as a nice to have. And if you're watching this, you're probably just treating your goals as if it's a nice to have. Now, you might be thinking, that's not true. Sometimes I stay up late. That's not true. Sometimes I watch YouTube videos. But when you have to sacrifice something to do the unsexy thing that you don't want, that's what differentiates between the women who actually make it to full time and the ones that don't. So yeah, you might be occasionally watching YouTube videos in your spare time or when work gets less busy, but what about when work is busy? What about when you have the option to go to a fun party? Are you willing to say no to that so that you can stay at home and backtest? Are you willing to wake up 1 hour earlier so that you can work on your goals instead of just sleeping in and telling yourself, yeah, I'll do it when life gets less busy? People think that a lot of the reason why they haven't reached their trading goals is to do with just pure skill, but you have to be consistent and show up even on the days that you don't feel like it. You're gonna have to make sacrifices. So for example, for me, I recently started this YouTube channel, and tomorrow I'm going on holiday. So I made the commitment to myself that I'm gonna post 4 videos a month. And even when life gets super busy, I'm not gonna say, well, YouTube's not that important, so I'll just start it again next month when I'm not on holiday. I'm thinking, okay, I made this commitment to myself that I'm gonna post 4 videos a month no matter what. So instead of me putting it off and letting myself off the hook and saying, you know what, I'll just film like 2 videos this month because I'm going on holiday, I'm waking up earlier and sleeping later just so I can fit things in my schedule. So when it comes to trading, you have to have the same mindset where you approach your goal of wanting to quit your job as if you are a bull seeing red. That means that even on the days where you're in your luteal phase and you're on your period and you don't feel like it, you are still logging on during market open or whatever time that you trade and looking for entries and actually doing something. It means that when you have the option to go to an event and you're busy, that you have the ability to say no to the fun thing so that you can say yes to your goals. At the end of the day, it just comes down to urgency and necessity. And if you're watching this, then likely you're too comfortable with your current job right now. You say you want a better life, but as humans, we're not motivated by reaching for something better. We're motivated by moving away from something that we don't like. So just think about it. Are you more likely to run out of your house if there's an ice cream truck that you see and you want ice cream? Or are you more likely to like run and sprint out of your house if there's a fire in your house and you have to run out to survive? Right now, you're really focused on, yeah, I could make 6 figures, I could quit my job, I could have a better life. But at the end of the day, you're probably still too comfortable with your daily routine. You're too comfortable with your quality of life right now. And it's probably because your job pays you just over broke. It pays you just enough for you to not complain, just enough to keep you from doing the uncomfortable things and getting out of your comfort zone. Imagine if someone says they have a goal to lose weight, but they only go to the gym when they feel like it, or when the circumstances are easy. It's like they only go when work isn't super busy, or when they still have energy after they leave the office at 6 p.m., or when they have nothing better to do that evening. Well, that person is good going to be inconsistent, and so they're just not going to reach their weight loss goals. And it's the same with trading. If you're only back testing on the evenings where you have no social plans, if you're only showing up when you feel that burst of motivation after watching a YouTube video or a podcast, then you're treating your goals as if it's a hobby. And so you're always going to get hobby results, because goals without consistency and without consequences is just a wish. The second reason is you have subconscious beliefs that are sabotaging you from attracting more money. And you might be watching this thinking, what do you mean? Obviously, I want to make more money. But if you're anything like me growing up, you probably grew up being told things from your family or watching movies like money is evil, rich people just take from you, money doesn't buy happiness, wealthy people are corrupt. So if you grew up in an environment that reinforces those things, then subconsciously you are going to have more internal conflict when it comes to making more money and attracting more wealth. Because if that's the story that you tell yourself, if that's your money narrative, then subconsciously your brain is going to think, well, I don't want to make money because I don't want to be a corrupt person, or I don't deserve to make more money because making more money means that I'm stealing and taking from others. I once worked with a student where every time she made above a certain level of money in her account, like let's say her account balance was $25,000, every time she got to like $26,000, she would do something silly to sabotage it. Whether that was taking a risk size too big or just completely revenge trading and going against her behaviors. And when we dug into it more, we realized that she was sabotaging because deep down, she didn't feel like she deserved a certain level of success, because her entire life, she grew up being told things like money is proportional to the hours that you put in. And of course, with trading, it's completely different. With trading, you can make really good money just taking 1 to 2 trades a day. And a lot of the time, the less time you spend in front of the screen, the more money you can make. So trading was a completely new way of making money to her, which was the opposite of what she was used to. And every time she started to see a certain level of success that made her start to feel uncomfortable, she would sabotage it, and her subconscious would bring her back down to what she thinks she deserved. Because in her mind, she's thinking, there's no way it gets to be this easy. There's no way it gets to be this good. And your brain doesn't look for what's correct. It looks for what's familiar. So if your entire life you've grown up being taught money is difficult to make, you have to work for it, you have to suffer for it, then in trading, when things start to go well, you're going to sabotage your progress just to reinforce the fact that money is hard to make. Another thing you want to be aware of is your limiting beliefs around money. If you want to make $10,000 a month, do you truly believe in your core that you are worthy and capable of making $10,000 a month? It's very easy for us to say, yeah, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to make $10,000 a month. But if there's anything less than 100% certainty that it is possible for you, a lot of people, the moment they feel like things aren't going their way, they'll just give up, because they'll use that as confirmation that it's not possible for them to make $10,000 a month and that it's too good to be true. Imagine if you have a thought that making $10,000 a month or quitting your job to become a full-time trader just seems too good to be true. Maybe you see other people living their life as full-time traders or doing their own thing, and you look at them and you think, okay, it's possible for them, but it's not for me. That kind of lifestyle just seems way too out of reach. If that's the thought you have in the back of your mind, are you really going to work maybe 3 months, 6 months, even 12 months in the beginning when you don't yet have evidence that it's possible for you? Most people are just going to give up and use their difficulties in trading as confirmation that I'm just not cut out for it. Maybe I should try something else. Maybe trading is possible for others, but not for me. But on the flip side, imagine if you fully committed, if you know deep down that it's just a matter of time before you get there. You're not even going to be relying on motivation or bursts of like feel good and then it'll work. You're going to show up every single day because you know that it's physically not possible for you to fail. And a good question to ask yourself is, if I knew with 100% certainty that I will get to my goals, then what would I do? Then how would I show up differently? The third reason you haven't reached your goals is because you have shiny object syndrome. So you're probably jumping from one strategy to another. You're watching a ton of YouTube videos and strategies, convincing yourself that you're making progress or working towards your trading goals, when really you're just sitting on your sofa watching YouTube videos on different trading strategies. What a lot of women do is they'll find one YouTube video with a strategy and then they'll try test it out for a little bit. And then when that strategy doesn't work, or when you go through a losing streak, you'll give up and you'll find another strategy to implement. And let's not even mention the fact that a big reason a lot of people can't stay consistent isn't even because the strategy sucks, it's because of other factors like emotions. But even if we leave that out of the way, every time you switch strategies, you get this dopamine hit of, okay, maybe this is the final thing that I need. Maybe the reason why my previous methods didn't work is because I wasn't using this indicator, but with this new indicator, I'm finally going to be successful. But every time you switch strategies, you are resetting yourself back down to zero. And trading is all about probabilities and taking a ton of trades over a large sample size. You're not really going to be able to see anything with like 1 to 2 weeks of back testing. You may just be going through a win streak, or you may just be going through a period of drawdown where the strategy just happens to not win as good. Trading is very much like going to the gym, where in order for you to see results, it's boring, it requires you to be consistent, and it requires you to do the same few things every single day. For me, I'm repeating the same behaviors. During New York Open, I'm logging on, I'm checking my key levels, and I stick to one set of entry and exit rules. And during a time where I might have more losses than I feel comfortable with, I'm not thinking, wow, let me go on YouTube and find another strategy. I'm not thinking, maybe I need to get this other indicator, which is going to be the end all be all. I'm not thinking, maybe I should start drawing trend lines. I'm able to stay objective enough to know that every single strategy that actually has potential is going to work if I'm able to stick to it and be consistent. Now, the final reason why you still haven't made it to full-time day trader status is probably the single most important thing. In fact, every person I know who is making good money from trading all know this one thing, whereas all the beginners and the people who give up are the ones who never realize this at all. And that is sometimes the money that you make from trading has less to do with your skill and more to do with your account size. Now, here's the thing with trading is on social media, you see these random screenshots and Telegram groups, and people make it seem like you can turn $500 into $5,000 in like 2 months if you just stay consistent and you master your skill in trading. But let's dive deeper into how realistic is that for the average person. See, if you actually look at the numbers, what you'll find is even the best hedge funds in the world are only aiming for 3 to 5% a month at most. And that's considered excellent. So as mere mortals ourselves, is it really realistic for you to aim to beat the performance of professional hedge funds, especially when as girls, we have no finance degrees, we probably have no trading experience in the beginning, right? You want to aim for being the absolute best trader in the world, trying to beat professionals, or do you want to put yourself in the best environment? A good way to think about it is if you want to make money at a casino playing poker, would you rather sit at a table of professionals and try to outbeat them in sheer skill, or would you rather just be good enough at playing poker but sit at a table where everyone sucks? So what does that look like with trading? Let's take a step back, because we see these crazy results online a lot of the time of people who turn like $500 into $5,000. And what they don't show you is that while that is technically possible, it is a statistical anomaly. And when you're trying to turn small amounts into life-changing money, it's kind of like gambling on crypto meme coins, where there's 0.01% of people who make it through sheer luck, but 99.9% of people end up losing their money. And that's because when you are trying to turn a small deposit or a small account into huge money, you're taking on a ton of risk and you're using super high leverage. And so statistically, you're more likely to blow your account in a few bad trades than you are to be one of the 100 or 1,000 people who make it to that. And even if they do make it to that, Where's the consistency? Yeah, those same people could have 100x'd in their first 2 months, but what happens after the 2 months is that they lose everything. And you're probably not the person who wants to bank on being 0.0001% of a winner in a lottery. You're probably the person who wants probability on your side. So what if, instead of focusing on sheer skill, you focused on being good enough at trading one strategy, but your main lever was getting a bigger account? So let's run the math and see what that looks like if you are aiming to be good enough where you're making 3% a month. 3% a month on a $2,000 account is $60, barely life-changing. 3% on a $10,000 account is $300. Again, still barely life-changing. Now 3% of $100,000 is $3,000. This is the exact same performance in all of those scenarios. You have to be a good enough trader to make 3% returns a month, but you get a completely different result depending on your account size. And right now you might be thinking, okay, in theory, this sounds good and it makes sense, but I don't have $100,000 in my bank account. And even if I did, there's no way I would want to risk it all and put it all in a trading account, right? Because I want to use the $100,000 or leave it in my savings or whatever it is. And this is why so many women never make it to full-time status, because they think that the only option is to risk and trade their own money. So what happens is you deposit an amount that's maybe safe, maybe a little uncomfortable, like $2,000, $3,000, and then you put so much pressure on yourself to double your account, and it causes you to over risk, over leverage, and wipe out your entire account in a few bad trades. So women just rinse and repeat that cycle, and next thing you know, you're 6 months in and you've lost tens of thousands of dollars of your own money. But going back to, okay, let's say instead of trying to over leverage and over risk, I go for 3% account size growth on a $100,000 account. Where do I get that $100,000 from? That's where companies like prop firms come into play. So prop firms are businesses where they essentially look for and recruit good traders. What you have to do is do an evaluation, kind of like a driving exam, to prove that you know how to drive. And then if you pass, they give you a car. With prop firms, what you're doing is you're paying a small fee of, let's say, $50 to $100 to take an evaluation to prove that you're a responsible trader. And then when you pass their evaluation, they essentially give you $50,000 or $100,000 of their money to trade with. And when you make money, you get to keep 80 to 90% of the profits. So let's say you pay $50 to $100 for an evaluation, and then they give you a $100,000 trading account. And in your first month, you're able to hit that 3% account size growth, meaning you made $3,000. You would do a profit share with this company where they might keep $300 to $500 and you get to pocket the remaining $2,500. So I'll do another video breaking down how this works, but the key thing you have to remember is that you cannot draw blood from a stone. So trading with your own money with a small account is a great starting point while you're getting used to platforms, you're getting used to a strategy and mastering your emotions. But at the end of the day, you cannot expect to turn a small account of only a few $1,000s into consistent money that is enough for you to replace your income. Now, if you've made it this far, then hopefully something clicked. And what you want to walk away with is just remember, at the end of the day, the market doesn't care. The market doesn't give us sympathy because life got busy or because we're going through a tough time. And the market doesn't even necessarily reward the most skilled trader. It rewards the one with the correct mindset, the ones who approach their goals with a level of urgency that most people simply won't. And it rewards the trader that put themselves in the right environment, meaning the trader who uses a big account size as leverage rather than a small account and aiming to be the absolute best by taking too much risk. And that person can be you. So if something in this video clicked, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, because every week I drop a video on how to go from small inconsistent wins and complete beginner to creating a full-time income as a day trader. And I'll see you in the next video.